Welcome back to another weekly analysis video. This analysis is for the week of September 28th, 2025. As always, we'll start with a weekly review of last week's price action and go from there. So last week, we did meet our objective of 25,029 and repelled away from that area in there. And now we're nearing and have been to the stop run area relative to the 24,057 level. So I believe this was a retracement for last week. And going in the next week, we'll discuss potential higher prices on the Nasdaq. But the objective for last week was met, which our next objective was 25,029, and that was met nicely. Or rather, it actually fell short of it, I believe, by about 2 points. Yeah, it fell short of it by 1 3/4 ticks. So that's that. So now we're here meandering at the stop run area. So now let's move on into the hourly chart. Onto our hourly chart now. We have the open here, Sunday, 1800, September 21st. Initial small decline down, and then the rally up into our next objective of 25,029. I want you to recall the analysis that I gave out for last week, which was that we were starting to enter a premium market and that I was cautious that I can and we could anticipate a decline lower, a retracement, and even a reversal, which I don't believe is in the cards yet. I still am looking for higher prices, and we'll discuss that as we move into the analysis for next week. But recall that I was initially, or rather concerned, that we could see a decline or a retracement in here, which is what we got. I will, however, say that I was still bullish on price and that I was taking it one objective at the time, the next objective being 25,029, which it fell short by 1 3/4 points. So we hit this objective here, came very close to it, and then we declined and repelled away from it down into the stop run area of the 24,057 level. We're currently in this area here, the stop run area of the 24,786 level. So it'll be interesting to see going into next week what price does. Small spoiler, I'm still bullish. And now into our 15-minute chart, we see a more refined view of price action compared to that of the hourly chart. Notice how, as it was declining from the objective that we were calling for, as it was declining from here, it left these highs intact like that. So we have a high here, high there, high there. That just looks like it's easy pickings for a run higher. Back to come back into here and then move forward into higher prices. Again, our next objective was hit, which was 25,029, and then we repelled away from that. So now, as we move into the analysis for next week, I'm going to discuss the higher prices that I am still expecting and what we can expect into the future. And I have some new levels that I'm going to show as well. Alright, so now we'll move into the weekly analysis for the week of September 28th, 2025. So again, last week we were calling for 25,029 in this area in here, but that would have been the first objective, which again, it just fell short of a 1 3/4 points. I am still expecting higher prices. However, in order to maintain that bullish bias for myself, I want to see price remain above this area in here between 24,300 and 24,543. this is the stop run area relative to the 24,057 level here. It needs to stay above that. If we start going below this and trading through it, it may want to reach down into 24,057 and then continue the bullish trend. I'd rather not see that happen. If it's really bullish, it should reach for new highs into the middle of this range here. And my new objective that I want to talk about, and I haven't talked about it yet, it's been in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to bring it up until we got to a certain point, and we're at that point now. 26,244 would be the overall next objective. Now, this level has a relative stop run area of this range here. So we've repelled away out of that range, and we must repel away from this one and start going back into it to make new all-time highs and eventually reach for 26,244. So what I'm getting at here is I'm still bullish. I haven't called the top yet. I'm not going to call a top. I'm still riding the bullish wave. Alright, now into our hourly chart here. See a little bit more of a refined view. I want to draw your attention to the stop run area for the 24,057 level. Notice how price has come into it here during last week. Banged around a little bit, came back into it once more and has repelled away. I'd like to see continuation of it moving higher away from here. Again, if it starts trading through this area in here, it will go back into the 24,057 level, which is what I do not want to see for continued bullishness in the Nasdaq. Okay, so we want to see it remain firm in here and continue higher, taking out this high, and coming back to the most recent new all-time high, and then creating a new all-time high into the middle of the range here. Okay, so between this line and this line, we want to start reaching for the middle of that particular range, which again, this level here, 25,515 and 24,786 is the stop run area of the 26,244 level, which again is the longer term objective for bullish prices. So that's what I'm expecting. I want to see this remain firm. Ideally, it remains in this range in here above it. Maybe consolidator, meander in it, and then repel higher, go higher. And lastly, we have our 15-minute chart here showing a more detailed view of price action compared to that of the hourly chart. I want to draw your attention here. You see how equal these highs are? As my mentor ICT would say, equal highs are targeted. And this looks a little too clean, as he would say, and it looks very nice for it to be targeted. So that's what I'm aiming for, and of course higher prices beyond that, but this just looks too clean, and we have the framework in here for it to move higher. So we just need to see what happens going into the beginning of the week and then moving forward. So just to recap, we're watching how we open. We want to see it stay within this area in here. We don't need to see it go back into here. If it starts coming back into here and going through it, it will target 24,057 and maybe a little beyond that, lower. We don't want to see that. The framework is in place for it to move higher, and that's what I'm anticipating, is higher prices. So, with that being said, that is going to conclude the analysis for the week of September 28th, 2025. As always, take care, and God bless.